What's going on, guys? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Much appreciated. Good to be back in South Florida after a little stint in Las Vegas for Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. Still buzzing off of that, man. That was a crazy, crazy weekend. Just one of the best performances I've ever seen in person in the fight game. You know, I had somebody who was like, it was a bad fight. And it wasn't a competitive fight. But I was just I was so in awe of Bud Crawford and just how much he dazzled on that stage. And, just knowing all the stuff that he had been through, going, people writing him off or dismissing him, and people kind of, people putting other people on top of the pound for pound list. I think this guy sensationally is just the best boxer in the sport. I don't think there's anybody better right now. Not Inoue, not Fury, not Canelo. To do what he did like that, very, very impressive. And I think you could, Tyson demolishing Deontay in the rematch, I guess you could say is similar. I mean, he really, really bludgeoned him, but he had already had a fight with him. He kind of got to feel him out that last fight. You kind of knew going in that he had the boxing advantage. So for, in a way against Fulton was very, very impressive. But Fulton doesn't have the resume that Errol Spence does. So I digress. That was just a really, really cool night. I did see with the boxing gloves on today, though, Terron Armstead. How about that? Terron Armstead is off the PUP list. Big news for the Dolphins as the pads are coming off. That's when the real football. That's when it starts smelling like football, dude. The clack of the pads, the clack and smack, dude. It's all out there. Everybody's in the, getting now down to the nitty-gritty, the business. You could actually see what this offensive line is going to do. And hopefully, it all comes together for the Dolphins. And then, of course, you kind of get a better sense of you're not just going free willy-nilly in the shorts. You get a real sense of offense versus defense. And I think that's got to be fascinating. You got this fun matchup going into this thing. It's like Mike McDaniel said last year. Like, what do you do when the defense has a good day, but you're an offensive guy? It's like you're happy and you're sad. But now it's fascinating because we got a real chess match going on of Fangs versus Mike McDaniel. And only Fangs is open for business, dude. And one of the things Fangs already has to figure out in the midst of all this is his cornerback situation. Because we got the news, Eli Apple, he signed this week, much to my co-host's Leroy Horde's delight. Eli Apple is now a Miami Dolphin after the awful news of Jalen Ramsey. It sounds like he's going to be out, in the best case scenario, up until December. Maybe he could beat that and come in, the last quarter of the season, something like that. But seems like the Dolphins are going to have to go for a bit here without Jalen Ramsey, which opens some things up. Yes, you got to bring in Eli Apple because you got to bring in some experience, right? Like you have to bring in some people who are just pros. And while Eli Apple does get roasty toasted and does find himself on the brunt of some criticism, this is, I think, his fifth team since he's been in the league. Not a very old man. I mean, 26, 27 years old. He's been on, I think there's been 5 teams already. So it's been Giants, Saints, Bengals, Carolina. I'm missing one. I'm missing one. Who am I missing for Eli Apple? I just did this today on the show of the teams that he had been on. But yeah, Eli Apple in his time, 27 years old, has been with 5 different franchises, drafted by the Giants, a couple years with the Saints, one with the Panthers, one with a couple with the Bengals, went to a Super Bowl, beat Tyreek Hill, of course, and then now he is on the Miami Dolphins. So a lot of moving around for a highly touted top 10 pick, but again, it's an experience thing, and it's a backup plan. It's a backup plan, and it's like a safety net, right? Like you're like, all right, worst comes to worst, the guy's capable. He's played. He has been out there. You don't feel like he's going to be in over his head. I think that's the point of all of it. You have so many guys who are coming back from injury. You have so many young guys out there. and we don't know what they could be. Now, the good news of that is the Cam Smith train seems to be like really humming up here. I mean, it's funny because it feels like Cam Smith comes into this year very much under the radar. And not a lot of people like the pick. Not because of him, the player, but it just felt like cornerback. Like that's, of all the things the Dolphins could have done with their first pick, we were thinking linebacker, tight end, something like that. And you're like, cornerback? Like it kind of, and not to, you didn't want to put this label on Cam, but it's like, it's no monogamy already. Like you could already hear, we already have enough cornerbacks. Like we all remember that infamous line. But with Cam Smith, it wasn't anything against him as the player. It was a need factor. That's what I think everybody was kind of like, all right, so cornerback, we got Jalen Ramsey. Cater Kohu had a good year last year. It's like, what is, why are we going down this route? And so I think that's kind of like, that like stifled some of the buzz around Cam Smith going in. It felt like there was more Devon A-Chain buzz going into this season than there was with Cam Smith. And, that's just easy breezy. And now it's like, boom, you're foisted right into the spotlight. Because like, hey, man, maybe this is here for you now. Maybe you can come out because Cater came out. He played last year. He was serviceable. He did his thing. What can you do? High draft pick. What can you go out there and put forth on this thing? Now, I did talk to the media this weekend. And here's a little bit of what Cam Smith had to say on the whole situation. And he said, like, I love this. He's like, listen, I was planning on playing anyway.
From the jump, I was already planning on playing, keeping in my head that I was going to be on the field regardless of the fact of any injury or anything that happened. But now just kind of seeing that it's here closer than it really supposed to. But it's just all really a blessing. I wouldn't say it's a blessing, but like it's an opportunity for a lot of more folks to succeed.
And how is anything you were able to learn from X and Jalen in the short time that you've been here?
Really a lot of stuff. Even after every rep, almost every rep I go ask them like, what you seen, what I did wrong, like did I take any false steps or anything? They just let me know everything, and then they put their little vet touch on it.
Well, listen, you got two guys that you can lean on there. That's pretty great. And I think one of the things that's been great about X does feel like he does a great job on helping the young guys. Like, even coming into the last year, he's like, oh, who's big? Noah. Who's a big guy coming into the Cater? He was like, Cater's that dude. Cater's going to be. So, like, that's one thing you could say about Xavier Howard is that he feels like he always puts his arms around the young cornerbacks on this team. Longest tenured Dolphin. There's just there has to be a lot of respect there for the guy that's done that. And then obviously you learn it from Jalen Ramsey, simply put, just like one of the best, to do it, especially, since he's entered the league. Jalen Ramsey, by the way, who, I think will be fun on Twitter throughout all of this, if anything. But he said, he goes, my dog's putting the pads on today. Fun fact, the physicality of the game is my top 3 favorite part. So I definitely wish I was out there. But I'm winning right now with this rehab. I'm up 3-0. X told me to just keep stacking these wins daily. God is great. Y'all be blessed. And, you're just hoping for the best recovery possible for Jalen Ramsey. And it is a great spin that he's putting on it and positive outlook that he's putting on it in that whole ordeal, because it can't be easy. You have to come into this thinking like, I have these big expectations. You're joining this hopeful Super Bowl contender. And everybody's kind of looking at you as that final chess piece for the defense. And now you might not be able to unveil that final chess piece until late in the year for what will hopefully be a playoff push or maybe division solidifying month. Who knows? But that's definitely the thing. But the couple things that Cam said that are interesting is like, yeah, it's an opportunity. He was planning on playing. Maybe this is sped up, but it is an opportunity. You do get this this kind of sink or swim. Now, it's not like Cater Kohu was like an undrafted rookie who, like, if he didn't swim, that dude's probably going to be out of the league. I do think that we've seen, like, he'll get a little bit of rope. But, man, you're already kind of flashing in camp. You flash on the first day where it's like you got some pass breakups on the day where physicality picks up a little bit. I think that's really, really cool and good news on that front for the Miami Dolphins with regards to their rookie cornerback. Really, really cool there. And then I guess the last thing we're really watching out for right now from over the weekend is Dalvin Cook, who, the Jets, I guess, couldn't close the deal, or, it was all just a flirtation for the Dolphins. I don't know what the hell's going on there when it comes to Dalvin Cook. Just feels like, hey, sign with the Miami Dolphins already. But I do think that it is interesting for Dalvin, the longer this goes, what does that mean for like when the Dolphins are going to be at the point where it's like, all right, we're just going to go in this direction, because some teams do want to do that. Like when a team feels solidified with their guys, they don't want distractions. They don't want to have something hanging over their head. It's like, when do you get to the point where you put a kill date on all of it, right? Because it was odd. I think if you are the Jets and you're listening to Dalvin Cook's comments and you're like, oh, well, yeah, the Jets, cool, but like the Dolphins would be a dream. And so like the Jets probably have to be thinking to themselves, well, are we just getting used here? Because like in a way, like I'm just looking at it, like, yeah, they feel like they're being used here. But I think also from the other side of it is the Dolphins, where it's just like, hey, all right, you've kind of done your flirtation. You've let us know you're willing to go fly up to New York, but still not sign with them, dude. Like, let's make a decision or not. Like, let's get to the point of all this. This seemingly is dragging out to a silly place, but who knows? I mean, I thought when he went up there, I thought for sure he was going to sign with the Jets. Between the Aaron Rodgers contract getting restructured and the visit and the stints on NFL Network, I thought, yeah, he's definitely gonna sign with the Jets, and he's still not a Jet. So we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out, I guess.